Sri Lanka batting blueprint. What West Indies must learn for the Super 8. This is Windies Fix. No noise, just fixes. Greetings and welcome to Windies Fix. I am your host, Brian Nelson, coming to you today with a very important video. Read the West Indies cricket team as we have qualified for the Super 8 with one game to go. Of course, it must be said that the West Indies are unbeaten in the World Cup, but is the batting truly ready for the Super 8? I just have to say that even though I am impressed that we have won all three first games, it is for me to be here on board to see how well I can assist in making West Indies a bit more solid where batting is concerned. From playing the ball on merit, keeping it on the ground, and reading conditions well, this is the channel for you to assist the team to go all the way in the World Cup T20 this year, 2026. And I have to say then that the topic of importance is all about Sri Lanka batting blueprint. What West Indies must learn for the Super 8. Windies Fix, the channel that is here to assist. No, I have to say then that I want to use Sri Lanka as the example to talk about my topic today, because when you look at how Sri Lanka dismantled Australia in the group stage, it wasn't about power, it wasn't about hitting sixes, it was about proper batting, and that's the lesson West Indies cannot ignore going into the Super 8. So far, we have been drafted into Group 1 with teams like South Africa and India. Better batters, better bowlers, you name it, spinners, medium pace, pace bowlers. And West Indies have to be in the rightful mindset, having that right mentality to go all the way. Now, before I go deeper into the video, people, I just have to say then that if this is your first time watching or listening to coverage here on the Windies Fix, so far I have done a particular video surrounding evaluating West Indies batting versus Scotland, the T20 World Cup. This video performed well for its first time, 744 views in 9 days. And I just have to say, if you're new to the channel, the road is to 1,000 for now. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe so that YouTube can help this channel and this current video to go all the way. So, I hope that you are realizing that the topic is not really about Sri Lanka, but how West Indies can go about in utilizing their game against Australia as an example to perform better with more class and confidence in the T20 World Cup. Now, let's have a talk. Sri Lanka's batting masterclass. So, Sri Lanka showed exactly how important batting discipline is in modern cricket. At The heart of the performance was Pasom Nisanka, a batsman who opened the innings, who led from the front by playing the ball on its merit. He didn't force shots, he didn't look for glory early, he trusted timing, placement, and shot selection. And if you're looking on the banner here, you're seeing Brandon King. He is the man that is not firing so far for West Indies. I'm not sure if he will play against Italy in the final group game. Maybe like Johnson Charles is giving a run, but this man is the one who I would love to see the CPL batsman stand out. Right? So most importantly, Sri Lanka kept the ball on the ground. They rotated strike. They waited for the balls. That is a bad one to put them to bed. And of course, by way of that, that is how you bat. Whatever you're setting a total for persons to chase or you're chasing a total, you have to apply yourselves properly. And speaking about applying cells properly, let's have a look on the scorecard between Australia and Sri Lanka, especially the Sri Lanka innings. So you're looking on this right now, you're seeing that Nisanka was not out on 100 runs, 52 balls. The key thing is 10 fours and 5 sixes. Pereira did not stay long in this one. However, Mendes and Pavan, they also follow the same pathway of a Nisanka. Most of their runs scored, let's say 51 and 28 respectively, 6 fours each for the batsmen. That proves that they were playing most of the balls on the ground. Am I saying that is how West Indies should go about in applying themselves against the selected teams that they will face in the Super 8? Potentially or possible, yes. The more you play the ball on its merit on the ground as well, then the less likely you will be caught. And one of the things that we have to understand here is that a lot of West Indies dismissal over the years is by way of being caught. It's like baseball in our days. We use a stuff box and we try to hit it out of the ground, but many times we are caught as well. So West Indies would have to improve in terms of their technique and how they go about in applying themselves. Now, speaking about technique, how about assessing West Indies' current batting identity? I mean, West Indies are known for power players, and in this current World Cup, Shimron Meyer, Robman Powell, and Romario Shepherd can change games with one swing. But over the years, as I've said before, we have been dismissed cheaply through catches. Too many aerial shots too early in the inning. Sometimes when the West Indians are uncomfortable in whether chasing around chasing scores or starting things off, if the goings get a bit tough, they start to lose their minds, lose their score, and start to hit some aerial balls. That is not what we want to see. That style works against weaker attacks, but against elite teams, it will be a huge risk. Again, against elite teams, it will be a huge risk. So that is where the responsibility shifts to players like Shea Hope, who has picked up his farm, Rustin Chase, Rutherford, and the main man that I'm talking about here, as you see on screen, a Brandon King. It is for him and Shea Hope to set the tone. Shea Hope has been performing better, but if Brandon King can give us a CPL century or more than a half century along the way throughout the rest of the tournament, then it will be a plus for us in setting the tone for the rest of the players to come along the way. So West Indies technical batsmen, they must steer the ship. So let's have a reality check here though on the super heat because conditions do matter. So I talk about the two teams so far that we're going to face in Group 1 in an India and South Africa. This is where conditions decides matches. India rely heavily on spin, batting timing, and ground shots becomes vital. South Africa brings pace, solid techniques, and strike rotations are key. So I'm differentiating the key that we know from these two separate teams. Yes, Sri Lanka, not Sri Lanka, but India is more completed where bowling is concerned, but West Indies struggles against spin. But they have been performing thus far so good in the World Cup against such type of deliveries. So this is where Sri Lanka examples matters. Bat longer, smarter, and bat for the situation. Tendulkar talk about playing the ball on its merit. He said it is simple. But for West Indies players, for example, Rockman Powell, you have to keep your head steady and just hold your roots and perform well with the bat against the spinners. So three key things fixes West Indies batting. One, play the ball in its merit. Not every ball needs to be fixed. Well, not every ball needs to be hit for a six. Respect good deliveries. That is something that we learn from the basic state of cricket. Number two, use the ground more often. Hard runs, gaps, and timing reduces risk and build pressure. Three, power as a finishing tool, not as a foundation. Let the big hitters finish innings, not rescue collapse. And I think that you guys would have understood what these means. So, people, I mean, West Indies have already qualified. The game against Italy should be handled professionally, but the real test begins in the Super 8. Sri Lanka showed the proper batting skill winning World Cup matches. That was displayed awesome against Sri Lanka, against Australia. So West Indies have to be disciplined with power. They won't just participate in terms of going into the crease and just swing back. That is something that doesn't work. They have to prepare themselves completely and play the shots one by one. So, people, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Read the topic Sri Lanka batting blueprint. What West Indies must learn for the Super 8. Of course, this is the Windies Fix, where I am here to fix the problems with useful solutions. So, people, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. When you comment, I will reply. So, you all take care. Goodbye until we meet again.